Boom and welcome to another video of the Flowing Dutchman now. Alright, chale. Bye. And that is what this is about, you know, the maximum amount of repetitions with this particular technique. There's another day here of competitions in Varanasi, close to Naga Panchami. And as you can see, it's always very difficult to find. There's literally these small, tiny streets where you have to drive your motorcycle, if you have one, to. And then all of a sudden you get into these little alleyways. You hear this sound, you hear this typical microphone sound, that one. And then you know you're close. So there's one more competition going. I think today it's about dumbbell, now, jori, Gadha, everything. So one more day of competitions. Time to enjoy.
Hello sir, how are you?
Hello. हम भी विदेश चलना चाहते हैं.
He also wants to go with you.
वीजा.
वीजा.
वीजा चाहिए.
चढ़िए ऊपर.
ठीक है. Hey Guillaume भाई, कैसे हो?
I'm fine.
Good to see you.
Meet to my friend. He's the organizer.
What is your name?
Dinesh Yadav.
Dinesh sir. Harvard.
आगे भैया भाई. एक, दो, तीन, चार, तेईस, चौबीस, आगे चल जाइए. 25, 26, अभी सब लोग बैठ जाएंगे. शाबाश. एक, दो, तीन, 13, 14, 15. तारू बजाना हवा में.
So the dangle has been going on for a while now, and it's interesting, these processes, they take so much time. So originally this was supposed to start at 12, and then it started at 4, or around 4, and it's now, I think, 7, and they're still doing the dumbbell swing. So this is supposed to be a 4 category competition with the dumbbell, with the now, with the Gada, and with the jori. So it's going to take a while, and I don't think I'm going to make it completely because I got a bit sick. As happens when you're in Varanasi. I think someone ordered a fruit juice and then still got ice in it, and we just can't drink any of the water here. So yeah, for me it's okay, but my friends they're not here today because they got pretty sick. So luckily Jan Bai is here with me again, and Jan can tell a little bit about this organization or how this all came to be, because it's not actually an Akara. It's basically, yeah. Well, what is it? Is this usually a road?
It's a road, but inside you can find a very old Akhara.
Oh, inside.
Yes, it is a Karnghanta Vyayamshala, and which is very old. And this dangal is started before 350 years. 350 years. It has a history of 350 years.
350 years.
Really, you can see that how did it written at here. It's very old style of writing the Devanagari Lipi, so it shows that it's very old. And yes, we swing here the dumbbell, nal lifting, Gada and Jori especially. And it has a very old and very famous Jori, which is number 1 Jori. Its weight about 42 kg each.
42.
42 kg each.
The red one.
It is the black one.
The
black one with the with iron ring at the bottom.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, it's very heavy.
And are the weights always similar?
No. The dumbbells are numbered. There are two dumbbells. First one is 25 kg each. It means total 50 kgs.
Yes.
And number 1 dumbbell is 36 kg each. It's totally weighted by the Pahalwans. And so I'm telling the exact weight because all of the other Pahalwans want to know that what is the correct weight. So I'm not telling anything wrong because it is already weighed on the machine.
Sure.
So it is 30 kg each, 72 kgs total. If anyone has a doubt that about its weight, they can come here in Varanasi to know about this. And it has a Gadha also. Probably it's about 40 kgs. But now the people are getting interest in Gadha swinging, but without touching the shoulder. So that they change the rule, and it becomes very lovely to see if anyone swing it without touch.
So that's very interesting to me. So was this, is the swinging with touch, is that the traditional way of doing it?
That's also a traditional way if it is a weighted.
So why has the free swing become more popular?
Yes, but because people think that they should be not swing the very heavy. Sometimes it can be give the bag impact, and sometimes the injury also. But if you are under a good guru's inspection, then you can swing it.
So yesterday when we were at the Jori competition, something interesting was told to me, where it used to be, or maybe it still is, that people go to these Akaras to compete. They don't just go to one Akara, because a lot of competitions actually happen on the same day. So what they would do is actually move from Akara to Akara to Akara to Akara to Akara. Now I'm guessing that is because they want to earn more money. But I'm not entirely sure about this. So Jan, do you know more about this?
Actually, the Pahalwans go to one Akhara to another Akhara. Yes, it is. But just to show their capability, just to show their power, just to show their strength, just to show that they refer to their own akharas. The name of their akharas will be valuable if a Pahalwan is strong. So it is a main reason. And the second thing that the Pahalwans who compete in this type of competition, they never go to many of akharas. They only go to participate in a best of best competitions to show their strength. It touched the hit his hip.
It hit the hip, and what happened?
It stopped. If it is stopped, then it will be not count.
So finally it is time. They have started to compete with the Gada, and I'm very excited for that. It does seem that there's not too many people competing. It's about 5 to 6, and the weight is about 34 kilos, which is doable. But Gyan also said that there's some people that haven't come because they're only doing the more heavier Gadas. And like we mentioned before, there's different techniques. There's the one where you pull it over the shoulder, and that's usually done with the heavier weights. But this is actually a free swing, so you cannot fully pull the mace because then it would not count. So that's why there's a relatively limited amount of people. It does mean that this part of the competition will go quicker than the dumbbell one, which was people had two chances and there were 2 weight categories, and now there's only 1 weight category. So that's really interesting. And what's fascinating to me as well, as you can see here, is that the preparation for all these tools, whether it's the jori, whether it's the na, whether it's the gada, they all have a similar build-up process. They do warm-ups, they tie their langot or their gamcha, they put resin on their hands, they put resin on the bamboo, a particular wood kind of glue. It feels really, really awful, like you would, as a kid, touch a tree and your hands would be so sticky that you can't get it off with soap. That's kind of what this is, but it's actually really, really helpful when you're swinging a weight like this. So what's happening is it's all grip. No, it's not all grip, but if your grip loses, you lose, right? So you can have the biggest triceps, the biggest shoulders as you want, but if you cannot hold the tool, there's no way of you actually getting a certain amount of weight. So by this whole process of cutting the handles, putting resin on the handle and making sure that it's really, really tight, it's an elaborate process, but it makes sure that you can do the maximum amount of repetitions, and that is what this is about, you know, the maximum amount of repetitions with this particular technique. When I first came in, I touched that green Gada over there, and that was really, really heavy. I think that is about 50, maybe even heavier than 50. They say 60, but it's always a bit of a guess whether it's really 60 kilos or not. So that would have been swung with the traditional technique where they would slide it. So I'm really happy that they chose to go for the lighter one, the 34, and the free swing, which is, my specialty. I'm not used to the touch swing as much. I can do it, but I don't have 60 kilogram Gadas at home, so there's no way of actually properly practicing the technique. So if I ever want to compete on that level with these tools, I just have to be here for a while and train every day, and that's not what I've been doing. So I can really prepare and train when I'm at home. And actually now I have not really done that a lot. I actually did a yoga teacher training in Bali for 4 weeks, and then I went freediving in Raja Ampat for 2 weeks. So 6 weeks before that I did breath work and cold exposure in Australia for 3 weeks as well. So 2 months where I've not been really practicing like I used to in my regular routine. So I'm not as strong as I could be. However, I have swung quite a few Gadas up until this point. I've been here now for 6 days. I'm confident that I can do quite a few reps with this one, so that's really exciting. Yeah. It's quite an extensive process. They have a very elaborate warming up process, and basically for every tool, the jori, the dumbbell and the Gada, what is really important is the grip, so they focus a lot on the grip. But then what is also important, they use the gamcha as a sort of a weight belt, so they do that as a practice to warm up, and then they put all the resin and all the it's like this when you were a kid and you had this, when you touched a tree, your hands would be dirty the entire day and you couldn't get it off. That's what they put on the handles. They also sharpen the handles with a little knife. After that is applied, they put resin on their hands, so that's the white powder. It's kind of a chalk kind of thing. They put that on the handles, and then what happens is they put it on their own hands, of course, to make sure the grip is tight. And these are some of the rituals and practices that they do. Sometimes they also do a little warm-up. They'll get some water from other Pelawans. They also get cleaned. So one of the things they don't want to have is that there's too much sweat on the body, because if you have too much sweat on the body, what happens is that either the sweat is coming on the handle of the tool that you're using, so that means that it eventually will go to your hands, and if it's starting to sweat on your hands, you're done. Because the grip, if you lose the grip, it doesn't matter how strong your triceps are, how strong your shoulders are, you will lose that tool, and that's actually quite dangerous. You can imagine what that would do if you would actually lose your Gada, and I've done it before in the past. It's not nice. It's not nice. So that's some of the practices, and really funny or interesting that they do it with all of them in a similar way. I've never seen such an elaborate process in competitions before that is solely focused on the tool that you're going to use. So the fifth Padawan is up, I think now, and someone has done 69 reps, 34 kilos, which is a lot. I don't think I'll be able to get that, but it's really cool to finally see some, strong Pelawans that are specialized in the Gada practicing this. It's really cool to see the techniques. that didn't go as I planned. I think the weight is a lot heavier than they said. It's definitely not 34. It feels more similar to 40 that we tried the other day. I've been, like I mentioned before, I've been sick, and the moment that I started to do the first reps, my head started to. So I realized that this was not going to be my performance or my attempt where I could do the most. But yeah, I'm very, very impressed by the Padawans here. If you want to be really good at this, you have to practice, because as you can see in the video, it just pulls you in a way that is just unknown. If you're not bracing enough, if you can't support the weight, it will either pull you backwards, so in your low back, or it will it will just pull you to the side. That's two of the options: either backwards, where the weight drops down, or sideways when you just want to pull it up. And it's so freaking heavy. I also have a little bit of a collarbone injury from my 45 kilo swing, in which I did 4 reps, and I just hit it here, and it's bruised. So it's a tough sport. It's not a sport you should do in a regular gym like this, because this is a serious thing. This is serious weight lifting, not just pushing, pulling. This is the entire body, and there's actually risks involved if you're not careful. And it's super cool to be here, to be able to practice with these guys. Beautiful people that are here, that say hi, that want to see more, and it's just a really beautiful sport, which I'm happily documenting here, because it's not done so much in the world. So really beautiful. So the Nal is just about to start. Some of the interesting things that you can see is the wrist wraps. They're really necessary because this thing hurts on your wrist. Well, there we go. I've been wearing the gamcha now quite often, and I'm actually starting to like it. But they use it as a weight belt, they use it as a wrist protector, they use it to honor elderly people, and they put it around their head, and they use it to get the sweat off the body. So it's a super important little thing, they wear it as their main training clothing. So that little gamcha is not just a skirt, it's almost an integral part of this whole competition of these ancient arts. And it's really interesting because we don't really know that anymore in the West. We do know that we have to have a towel to go to the gym. Now you're really using the towel. And the gamcha is much more versatile. So really cool facts about this, and in different ways they will use the gamcha. What they do with the weights is very interesting. So they call each tool by a number. So they have Jori number 2, Jori number 3, Jori number 4. But it's actually not a specific weight that is the number. So it's just a weight that they're practicing with or that they're competing with. So for example, if the heaviest Gadha is 60 kilos, but they're also competing with a 40 kilo Gadha, the 40 kilo Gadha becomes Gadha number 2 and the 60 kilo becomes Gadha number 1. So for example, now they're lifting the Nal, which is 95 kilos, but it's the only Nal they'll lift, so that's Nal number 1. And yeah, really interesting and fascinating how they do that. And, how they actually weigh these things. Also quite different than in other competitions where the weight is always strictly measured. Here the weights are not really measured, it just depends. You know, there's definitely tools that they keep using, but it's not that they weigh them before the competition. They may have been weighed once in the past, but there's all these stories about how heavy they are and how heavy they are not. But the weight situation is an interesting thing because it just means, you know, the heaviest weight is going to be your weight, and whether it's 2, 3, 4 kilos more, who really cares, you know, who really cares? So, and I think Bole Shankar Pehlewan is now up for the now. So that's it for me. The last competition I visited during Naga Panchami, I've learned and seen a lot of competitions. I've participated in a little bit too, which was fun, of course. But for me, the main thing was to see this, witness this, document it, and yeah, get inspired. You know how they do this, and that there's actually really, really strong people out there. Like, I don't train to be a heavy Gadha lifter. My heaviest mace is 25 kilos at home, so I can't practice with 40. I can't practice with 40 kilos, you know, that's just not possible. We could start to make them, but then again, it's a really specific practice. Boom. So you can flow with a light mace, but what can you do with a heavy, longer Gadha mace? Gadha Mace 101 is designed to teach you the absolute fundamentals of swinging a Gadha or a heavy mace. You'll learn how to use a unique tempo system, which will add a new dimension to your training. Are you ready to set your foundation right for the Gadha Mace? Join now, DutchFlowAcademy.com. Boom! Thank you for your attention. It's greatly appreciated. If you like the content, please consider to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see similar videos, you can see them over here. If you're interested in learning more from me as a coach, I've got online courses on DutchFlowAcademy.com. Keep flowing. Ram Ram.